Tyson Fury's been on the floor on multiple occasions from lesser punches than Deontay Wilder. There is a path there. There is a way to see how it's done. You've just got to put the time in and study. Tyson Fury makes out like he's the most formidable heavyweight in the world. I think he's an amazing fighter, by the way. I think he is the best heavyweight in the world right now. That can't be disputed on the victories that he's done. Tyson Fury makes out like he's the most formidable heavyweight in the world. I think he's an amazing fighter, by the way. I think he is the best heavyweight in the world right now. That can't be disputed on the victories that he's done.
What's good, family? Smash the like button and subscribe. So we just heard there from Tony, the bell end, Bellew, gas in the place. So Otelai, he's shilling, he stays shilling. And what I can't understand about Otelai, I was about to tell you what I can't understand about Tony Shillu, is that where is his angle? But now we know where his angle is. I swear down, yeah, these last few months, ever since Billy Ho Saunders got filled in, ever since Canelo Alvarez rolled the hind legs off of Billy Ho Saunders on live TV, I've gained so much enlightenment, because these comments here from Tony Shillu a few months ago wouldn't have made no sense to me. Where is he coming from? Where is this angle? Because what do we know? Tony Shillu alleges AJ's his best mate. Yeah? That's what he does allege. No doubt. AJ's my best mate. All this kind of stuff. We're big, I'm big bro, and all this business. He gives it. Now, you know, my opinion is, you should be down the line, regardless if you're friends or brothers or not. But Tony Shillu, he gives it, best bros and that. And the next thing you know, he's talking about Tyson Lieson Scary is the best fighter ever since sliced bread. Which again, I understand, you could argue, well, YB, yeah, he's still brothers with AJ, but he's being down the line. But it's the things he's saying that make no sense. He don't back up anything he says. Oh, it's the wins he's had. What wins are they then? What wins? You mean when he went 50-50 with Vlad? You mean when he fought Deontay Wilder, who AJ was begging to hang at the back of Wilder first? You mean when he fought Wilder, when he went life and death with Wilder in the first fight, ended up spark out? You mean when he fought Wilder, when Wilder didn't want no parts of AJ? So you got to really, like I said, you got to put what Tony Shillu, you got to take what he says and put it in context. When people talk about people being the best heavyweight in the world, number one, you say AJ's your bro. But again, I'm not even going to really count that, because even if that we shouldn't really factor that in. I'm happy to stick with the facts, regardless of what Bellew alleges about them being family and whatnot. But I find that suspect. You talk about how much your family was someone, and then you're talking about how Lieson Scary is the best fighter, even knowing that, guess what, Lieson Scary didn't want no parts of AJ. I wouldn't mind, yeah, if AJ was this guy who stays missing, who stays out of the way, and Tony Shillu wants to give a bit of honesty and say, well, you know, AJ, you didn't want to fight Wilder, and you know what, you didn't really want to fight Fury, so I'm sorry, bro. Got to break it to you, but Fury's the best. Look at his CV, there's no doubt. But the fact that AJ's been rock hard, the fact that AJ's had his lipstick out for Deontay Wilder, had his lippy all the way out for Lieson Scary, and those two facts, the fact that AJ's begged, literally, there's a video of back in 2019 before he lost to Ruiz. There's a video of AJ literally begging to get in the panties of Wilder and Fury. He made a video saying, please can we meet after this? I'm just too thirsty. I must meet with you, man. Yeah, I need to meet with you, man. I want you, man, badly, is what he said. So much so, AJ was dreaming, was so rock hard for Wilder and Fury, he ended up losing to Ruiz because he was so rock hard for them, man. He was so distracted. He was fiending for them, man. Yeah? Fiending for them, man. 100%. So much so, he ended up being distracted. He was distracted he was blinded by his love for them. Yeah? No doubt. They call it jail love. You know what I'm saying? One of them ones. Trust me. AJ had jail love for Lieson Scary and Deontay Wilder. No doubt about that. AJ was fixing to give Wilder and Lieson some good old jail loving. That's 100%. Because that jail love is that strong love. And that's that kind of love which can get you beat by Andy Ruiz. That's what we do know as a fact. Yeah? And despite knowing all that context, your man's Tony Bellew, oh yeah, AJ's my big bro, hey, AJ, I'm big bro, all this kind of stuff. Throw the context out the window, and you want to tell me about how Tyson Fury is the best, Tyson Fury is the best boxer in whatever. And again, I started this video off telling you, man, for a long time I couldn't work out where his ankle was. I just thought he was a bit of a hater. You've heard me say, Tony the hater, Bellew, Bellend. Yeah, I thought, he's just a bit of a hater, and I think he is to an extent. I think a bit of it does start there, where he's mad that AJ is the guy he wants to be. If that makes sense. AJ's going to run through. Well, I don't know if he run through him, but AJ's going to beat you sucks, and we saw. And Bellew got smoked by Usucks. I saw a recent video, Tony Bellew saying, Usucks is going to be the hardest fight. Usucks is the best boxer. No. Let me tell you something right now, Bellew. Yeah? Usucks is the best boxer to you. Do you understand? Usucks is daddy to you. Yeah? Usucks hang out the back of you. There's levels to this game. Usucks ain't daddy to AJ. Do you understand that? Yeah? Usucks isn't big bro to AJ. He's big bro to you. Yeah? He daddy to you. He big man to you. How about that? You seem to get things twisted. You seem to think that everything's lateral. Yeah? There's levels to this game. And the level AJ's on, you ain't on. And nor's Usucks. And you seem to get confused. Well, I got murked in round 6, so AJ probably can get... No. You're wrong. I can't even blame you, because there's other certain dons. I've heard some goofy YouTube dons telling me about how AJ gonna get knocked out because look at what Ruiz did. Well, guess what? Where was Pulev at then? Innit? Where was Pulev at? If AJ's just super chinning out, and to be fair, I can't even blame people like Bellend. I can't blame Bellend. I can't blame fruity YouTubers. Why? Because it's AJ and his team who've allowed this notion to spread. So I'm not even going to blame these men. Because AJ and his team have allowed it to be out there. If they'd have squashed this beef properly, there wouldn't be no question about it. Yeah? But they've seen AJ in there with Pulev going 50-50 for 5 rounds. They've seen AJ in there with Ruiz going 50-50 for 12 rounds. Having seen that, now people are saying, well, AJ hella Trinity, he hella scary. That's why people are able to say these things. If AJ gone in and handled his business as he should have done, as the YB and Shane McGuigan would have trained him to do, there wouldn't be no question about nothing. Yeah? There wouldn't be no question about any of this stuff we're talking about now. And I guess to some extent we can say, well, it makes the sport interesting. Me personally, I'd find it more interesting if AJ was just pushing wigs back. Yeah? I'd find it much more interesting if AJ became a professional barber and just started rearranging these wigs for people. For them as well. Doing it for them. Yeah? Changing wigs for the benefit of other people. Yeah? That's what I'd prefer. But anyway, back to this thing from Bellend. Listen, Shillu. Listen, Tony Shillu. Yeah? Like I was saying earlier in this video, for a long time I couldn't work out where your angle was. Yes, as I've explained, you're a bit mad. But that's not, for a long time, I thought that was the main part here. I thought because I've done videos on this before. When AJ was about to rematch Ruiz, Tony Shillu was saying, Ruiz is just too powerful, he's just too quick, and he was giving it all that, 100%. And around them times as well, Shillu was saying, Fury's just too much of a boxer, he's just too good, he's too quick, and all this kind of stuff. And at them times, my base case was that Tony Shillu, he's a bandwagon don. In fact, I'm sure that's the name I gave him. I gave him Tony the bandwagon Bellend. Yeah, Tony the bandwagon Bellew. Because he ride back. Listen, he stay on bandwagon. Because before AJ lost to Ruiz, yeah, he was on that bandwagon. He loved the bandwagon. He stayed there. Yeah? He stayed on the bandwagon. That's where he did stay. He loved the bandwagon. Did Tony bandwagon Bellew. AJ lost, and all of a sudden he ended up going super fruity. And I wouldn't even mind, yeah. But why be if he lost? So Tony had to change his analysis. That'd be fair enough if there was someone around really setting pace. Fury, the man who has to be taken to court to fight, the man who does anything not to fight. That's not analysis, and that's where I'm going to get there now, to the point here. Like I said, initially I thought Bellew was just mad that he ain't AJ. AJ's the guy he wants to be, and he ain't that, because he got slept. Yeah, he got big daddied. He got turned out by you sucks. But now it comes full circle. It's making perfect sense, because even when Lieson Scary is pulling out of fights and ducking undisputed categorically, your man Tony Shalhoub is still trying to tell people that Fury is the best boxer since sliced bread. Now, the reason for that isn't the main reason for that isn't because of his hate or how he's mad at AJ. The truth is that, guess what? He paid. How about that? Now it makes perfect sense. He paid. He another one on the MTK payroll. It's all making perfect. It's all linking up perfectly because Fury's on BT. So what? It doesn't make no sense. It hasn't never made no sense. Tony Bellew has always been Sky. So why would a Sky Don be shilling for the longest time? Oops. He on the payroll. He another Tyrone Booth. That's my professional opinion. And I've got some new videos coming soon. Some new sources. Some leaked sources. Tony Bellew. I've seen the receipts. Yeah, I told you one before. I've got a Don deep inside MTK's accounts department. Yeah? I've seen the money flowing. I've seen the accounts payable. And you best believe Tyrone Booth and Tony de Bellew are on the payroll from MTK, 100%. They're on the payroll. And that's why, if you slow dons haven't worked out already, that's why these two man, Tyrone Booth, they stay on Lieson Scary's jeb end. They stay there. You never wanted that. Wait a minute. Tyrone, your man's pulled out and you ain't said nothing. Oops. But guess what? What else do we know? Who else? Yeah? Who else has a big mouth, loves to talk, and has been silent on Lieson Scary pulling out? Oops. Tony Bellew. Yeah? As well as IFL TV, but we know that. I've already exposed that. But Tony Bellew's a key one here. Because Tony Bellew, he missing. Why hasn't he? Where was the big interview with Tony Bellew talking about Fury's a disgrace, that he made Wilder take him to court, and oops, where's them interviews at? Yeah, where are they? Where are the interviews of Tony Bellew airing out Fury for making Wilder take him to court? Where are the interviews of Bellew? Where are the interviews of Shalhoub exposing Lieson pulling out? Oops. They nowhere. Instead, we get to hear about how Lieson Scary is the best boxer since sliced bread. I'm sorry, don't make no sense from a normal point of view. And this doesn't even consider the things I've talked about, i.e. the resumes, i.e. you want to tell me about how Fury is the best boxer? How about the best boxer didn't want to fight AJ, or hasn't wanted to fight AJ for years? And what makes it even worse is the fact that Lieson was offered to fight Bellew himself. So Bellew will even... And this is what I'm saying. This isn't natural. This is artificial shillery. This is paid, confirmed. Because Bellew even knows. Because Bellew was in the contract. Eddie Hearn offered a random fight. Bellew, Dillian White and then AJ. Tyson Scary didn't want it. Lieson didn't want it. So Bellew even knows that Lieson's super scary. And in fact, there was a period of time when he first came back, Tony Bellew was calling for the fight with Lieson on its own, saying, Lieson, let's get it. Because at that time, Bellew had just turned over David Big Toe. Yeah? David Big Toe had just been filled in. by Tony Bellew. So Tony Bellew was feeling himself. And Tony Bellew said, Wilder's a bit too powerful, but Lieson, I'll have a piece of that because he can't punch. And that's how you know, again, that's how you know it's full shillery, because like, how can Bellew talk about Fury being the best fighter when you ducked Wilder, and you said AJ was way too big and too strong, but you was willing to fight Fury? So right there, he's the best fighter, but he's the only one you wanted to fight. Oops. And Bellew, I remember at the time, Bellew, was coming off the David Haye win, and he was rock hard for Fury. He was out there promoting it, saying, listen, it'll be a massive pay-per-view fight. Guess what? Lyson's Fury, he was missing. He was fighting Panini in some next Don. On Sky, on BT Sports. I'm saying for free. He was on Freeview. Tony Fury turned down a pay-per-view fight with Bellew to fight on Freeview. And Bellew knows this. He's been living it. He knows it more than me. But even so, even knowing all the history, even knowing how scary Lieson is, even know how he ducked him, he ducked the cruiserweight. Even knowing this, guess what? He wants to ride. He stays riding Lieson. So please don't at me telling me YB you're off the mark on this one. Tony Bellew is paid by MTK 100%. He another one. And I've told you this before. They do this on purpose. They infiltrate. They needed someone on the sky side of things. So it's all adding up now. I'm seeing things clearly now. It's all making perfect sense. So for a long time I couldn't understand it. Why is Bellew from Sky constantly riding Fury, constantly stroking the end of Fury off? Just stroking it. I can't lie to you, man. I've watched certain films. I've watched X-rated films before, but I've never seen a man spend so much time on the end of someone's jab, just rubbing it off. He say rubbing. Oh no, he's from Liverpool. But either way, whatever way you want to look at it, man, he stay riding. And what gets me is there's never any analysis with it. There's never any backing it up. Well, he the best boxer because. Go explain it. Oh, wait a minute. Why be you wrong? Because he said he's the best boxer because of his resume. What resume is that then? I've already explained the one where he ducked the trilogy. He ain't never done no rematches. Oh, tell a lie, Bellew. What about the rematch with Vlad that he didn't do? How about that? Because for me, people love to mention resume, but resume isn't only the fights you do. It's also the fights you don't do. That's what resume really is. Because in this day and age, you can avoid people. Which means that it's naive to just consider the fights that actually happen. You have to consider the fights that were available that you didn't do. You didn't take. And we know there's been many fights that have been available he didn't take. And I'm sorry, that comes into resume. For example, look at the best shining light in this sport is AJ. You show me one person who wanted to fight with him and didn't get it. Oops. Oops. Because I can see it. License Scary has a whole load of fights. People wanted it and he didn't deliver. Do you want me to go through them for you? Here we go. Vlad, rematch. He missing. Vlad rematch. Fury missing. Dillian White, WBC. He missing. Sorry, Dillian White, WBC Diamond Belt. Fury missing. Tony Bellew. Fury missing. AJ. Fury missing. Wilder Trilogy. Fury missing. Oops. That's the resume of Lieson. Scary. That's his resume. And if you don't like it, you man do the same for AJ. Because I'm being genuine. What do we know about AJ? AJ beat Vlad, and AJ was the one. It wasn't the case of Vlad begging for the. AJ was the one. I remember following it at the time. AJ was the one reaching out to Vlad, saying, "Vlad, you right, mate? I know I've whooped you into retirement, but do you want this fight? Let me know. You got plenty of time still, but I swear to God, AJ was the one chasing it up, seeing if Vlad was all right, seeing if he wanted it, checking on him. That's what happened. With Fury, he missing. He avoiding things. He pulling out. He retiring. Yeah? So don't tell me about resume and what he's done. What do you mean, what's he done? Fury genuinely had one good fight against Wilder, but I've already explained to you, man, that Wilder, AJ would have already pushed that wig back. Because whatever Fury did against Wilder, yeah, AJ would have done 10 times quicker. Just because there's levels to this game. And I'm the one who said from the start. In fact, I'm the one who said for Fury. I'm the one who said the videos are there. Watch my Wilder versus Fury 2 videos. I said, if Fury goes in there with his elbows tucked in, his chin down, and sticks it on him, in fact, I said that from the jump. I've always said the first man that goes in there and opens Wilder up is going to dominate him. And 2-2s, Fury goes in there and it's game over. I was the one who said that, and no one else saying that. Hatman was talking about how he needs to be super cute and he needs to play it smart, and if he doesn't, if he gets caught, and he needs to bring Ben Davis in and be super scary. That's what Hatman was saying. Hatman couldn't believe his eye. Hatman, been in the gym since the 1920s, couldn't believe he'd been schooled by the YB. That's the truth. I hate to break it to you, he don't know boxing like the YB does. He just don't. It's nothing personal, just what it is. Yeah? The YB don't miss. I can't remember the last fight I got wrong, genuinely. I'm just too locked in. How about that? But anyway, Bellew, Tony Shillow. Cat's out the bag now. We know you're paid. We know you get the MTK checks. And simple as that. So you can stay just gassing the place up, provide no evidence for your claims about Fury's the best thing. Based on what? Based on not fighting for 18 months. Oops. We know where you got that one from. You got that one from. All I need to hear now, all I need to hear next year is Tony Bellew. All I need to hear next is from Tony Shillow telling me that Fury is the best because I swear down, yeah. All I was waiting for at the end of that statement was, yeah, Fury's the best because, Fury's obviously the best. Look, he even won. Look at his resume. I mean, he even won Fighter of the Year. So yeah. I swear down, boxing's so corrupt, or boxing's so diluted yet that people now will even start referencing their corrupt and diluted achievements. Oh yeah, look, of course Fury is. Look, he's even won Fighter of the Year, and he's even Ring Magazine belt holder. So yeah, I swear down, there was a time, yeah, Fury was off his retirement, and people were saying things like, yeah, of course he's still the best boxer. Even though he's got no belts, even though he's out of the ring, he's Ring Magazine champion still, so of course he. And that's what happens that's the sport we're in. MTK pay for Ring Magazine, they pay for this ESPN thing, and 100%. And then shills like Tony Bellew and Tyrone Booth come along and start trying to tell people that, yeah, of course it is. Look at the awards he's won. Of course he's the best ever. Of course he's the best ever who hasn't fought for 2 years. Of course he's the Fighter of the Year who hasn't fought for 2 years. Imagine that. Imagine not fighting for 2 years and winning Fighter of the Year anyway. It's one thing if you haven't fought for nine months and you say, well, it's 9 months. Fighter of the Year. Listen, you couldn't be Fighter of 2 years ago. How about that? What the? Fighter of the Year. You'd barely make Fighter of the Year for 2 years ago, genuinely. You barely would. Because you had one fight. What planet you on? No word of a lie, yeah. The standard for boxing is 2 good fights a year. That's standard. That's once every 6 months. That's not record breaking, Having 2 good fights every year isn't record breaking. That's pretty standard. That's what AJ stay doing. Standard. Lieson, he ain't fought in 18 months. Tell lies. Well, yeah, 18 months to this day, but it'll be 20 by the time he fights. And you telling me, and Tony Bellew telling me about how he's the best fighter and got the best resume. Best resume. Who retired after one decent fight. Tell lie, wasn't even decent. Best resume when he nicked a belt from Vlad and ran off. You mean? Best resume. Spent half of it retired or not fighting. Come on, man, be serious. Get serious. Come on, Shillow. Come on, Tony Shillow. I know the money is good from MTK, but come on, man. I know the Shill Aloha cartel are paying you well. But come on, man. Let's be serious now.